Hello, welcome back to my channel. I always don't know what I want to talk about. Actually, I do know. Lately, I'm gossiping today. I have been contemplating about how this year is unfolding, and I don't particularly know, but meaning like I don't know whether it's good or bad because I think materially from the outside right now, things are quite bad. Politically is bad, economically is bad. For me personally, financially is bad, is actually worse than last year. And last year I was so stressed out. But the reason why I don't know whether it's good or bad is because even though my circumstances and my situations is still pretty much the same as last year, and my financial situation probably worsened, is because, and there's always going to be this impending stress about the worst case scenario, which I can definitely see unfolding. But the issue is my nervous system is a lot better this year. And that means even though the circumstances around me has worsened, I from the inside is actually okay. Um People say this the word resilience, but I really don't think it's a resilience. I think it's because I've been drinking a lot of matcha and it has calmed me down so much maybe. Even though it has a lot of caffeine, for some reason I think the effect of caffeine is being counteract by maybe the L-theanine that is existing in matcha. Maybe that is actually helping me out. And I'm not actually taking a lot of supplements and vitamins this year. I feel like I'm giving up on them a lot. Well, not everything. It's just mainly because I'm choosing food, buying groceries, than buying vitamins and supplements. And I don't also go out as much. So I'm just staying here and I am resting a lot. Mainly, I'm thinking about what I want to talk about in these videos. And even though the recording itself is quite short, but it takes every single ounce of my brain to keep thinking what topic I want to talk about. It takes like from the moment I wake up till the moment I sleep. And as I'm reading manhwa, I keep thinking like what do I talk about? And it's a lot of brain efforts. I sometimes if I get frustrated during the day, I just ask ChatGPT and it rarely give me answers, but I think it's just accompaniment because I really need someone to bounce ideas off. But yeah, so that's what's happening this year. I feel in on the inside of my brain. You can probably see as well, like from the vlogs, it's not as dark as it was last year because like if you want to know my inner world in a lot of ways, the vlogs are better, like the ones where I don't talk, where I write down stuff. Those are the better, those are the closest representation of what's going on inside my head, because the persona inside my brain and the persona that is living in the outside world and in the quote unquote real world, I put the real world on quote because to me it doesn't feel real. um and it's very different because my talking personality is basically a mask that I have built throughout my life in order to please other people, in order to come across as likable. Although that I don't think that's working out, to be honest. I can only mask maybe like an hour or so in my whole day usually and be friendly that way. And I think neurotypical and normal people are like that too. They're just very different, I guess. Different people comes to very different nervous system and different bearings. And so my year so far is just me drifting, and but I'm really afraid of losing this sense of calm and peace. I'm afraid that I'm going to be high strung again. I'm afraid that I'm going to be panicking again. I'm afraid that I will lose these very brief moments of peace and moments of calmness and moments of where my nervous system is regulated. I realize like these are probably the precious moments that you don't really appreciate in your everyday life because I think as society, Western one, usually we are so programmed to appreciate only material stuff or success or achievement that people can envy you for, people can feel jealous for you, and people can, you know, see and experience. But we are not really taught to be envious or jealous of the way people feel inside. And I feel like maybe we should teach people how to feel inside, like, or how to know when you have that feeling inside, because I think it's the key to a better society. Because I realized when I was younger, I was chasing a lot of achievements, quote unquote achievements, and goals that were told to me by society that I ought to aspire to. And I think it also uh, leans towards this idealistic blueprint that I don't know if everyone actually agrees with, to be honest. I think it's just like one person who's very domineering personality wise, trying to kind of be a tyrant and convince other people to follow their ideology and what they want to be the perfect thing to aspire to, and everyone else is just too scared to defy this person and too scared to go against the person's um, opinion, that they all just agree with it, and for some reason that becomes the standard for society. It's the same like, I think the Western food pyramid chart, I think the one that they basically said you need to have a lot of carbs at the bottom. That's the basic of the pyramid. You have to have a lot of that and less meat and less, whatever it is that we're supposed to avoid. And then nowadays, especially on YouTube, if you follow the nutrient or the bodybuilder or the chronic illness type of videos, you would say that that pyramid is probably the source of the current epidemics of either diabetes or liver issues or colon cancer. All of those things are basically being fed by sugar, or like that's the current theory anyway, and that's what's going around. Like if you change your diet into more protein and fat and less carbs, your body will come back into balance. Um, and I think there was also a video about how the food pyramid was not based on science. So there is that. And he was just too domineering and just like basically uh, not oppress people, but I guess like he just forced his opinions onto the masses. And a lot of people just didn't bother to correct them. And I feel like it's the same with all the other things in the world as well. I feel like the reason why people are so miserable and cruel to each other is because we weren't taught to know the indicator of wellness, which is the feeling of robustness regardless whatever happens on the outside, the feeling of centeredness regardless whatever happens on the outside, the feeling of, it's not untouchable but more like a detached feeling, because you're not taking things too personally. And I guess the feeling of recognizing trauma inside of you as well and working towards healing it. as well, rather than going into a spiral or going into a reactive mode where you're going to spend another 20 years running away of trying to feel the really intense and sometimes possibly destructive to the ego feelings and words and behaviors and all the uncomfortableness inside your body. I guess what I'm saying is, I guess we just need to be more aware of our inner feelings and inner emotions. And I'm not saying not to be dissatisfied with the way your circumstances is currently um, standing right now. Like I'm still not satisfied with the fact that my money issue hasn't been resolved or all my community issues haven't been resolved. You know, all my problems are still there. Maybe some actually double more than last year. But my inner feelings has grown more steadily and stable compared to last year. It's definitely still wobbly, okay? I'm not saying like it's perfect. Oh my god, this is bliss. Oh my god, this is heaven. No, I'm not saying that at all. It probably only moved like 2 inches or something from its previous um, location, but the 2 inches made a huge difference in my inner world and my inner feelings and the way I experience the world. And I think if other people can feel like this as well, like they just don't become easily dragged into the outside world as much and remain steady and centered in their inner world, I feel maybe a lot of the inflammation of the world's events could be tamed peacefully. I'm thinking out loud. Anyway, just want to share with you that hopefully it's useful somehow. Hmm, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.